They even yeah, but they said guys with gray beards. That's what they said. I don't know.
All right, we're back again with Formula One, and today we'll be looking at the secrets behind the success of the McLaren team and the elite team they built around them. We made to discuss that is Mustafa, Kule Williams, and Mr. Johnny. My
Oh
name
yeah,
is
this is the channel
Olatunade.
that hates on McLaren. We hate Andrew Stella, who's the PR guy. He's not a technical director, so we're not going to give him credit. We're not going to give Zach Brown. Zach Brown brings in the money, and Lando Norris and Piastri just press auto drive. But let's talk about the car. This car is fantastic. The MCL 39, I think it is, and we want to say that two reasons why this car is so fantastic. First of all, is because of four men. Rob Marshall. Rob Marshall was with Red Bull. He and Newey were like this. But Newey was the conceptualist. Rob Marshall is a conceptualist, but he's able to take concepts and turn them into reality, whereas Newey just has the concept. Rob Marshall going there is the big difference. And he is the one who brought their fantastic tire, whatever it is they're doing with their tires, to not overcool and be able to go up and down and regulate almost like a thermostat. The tires are like thermostats. Whoever he's the reason for that. Then they've got Peter Prumdu, who's a technical director, Neil Headley, and Mark Temple. I don't know much about those guys. Afolabi's are the guy who watches it, but I know that the second reason these guys are doing well is their methodology. Before they bring an upgrade, let's say they want to upgrade on suspension, they test it in thousands of different scenarios and contexts with different combinations of different specs of the car to see how it performs before they verify it and move it forward. This is what Williams does with James Vowell. It's a patient thing in which they don't want to do guesswork. Like, Red Bull, they said last week, Red Bull said they tried something to with Verstappen and it backfired. Red Bull gambles and sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't. McLaren doesn't gamble. So what they do is they'll rather be slow. They were slow. They came almost last 2 or 3 years ago when Norris was considered a great driver, but they were at the bottom of the grid. But during that period, they were spending their money on new wind tunnel, and on a precise, patient way of bringing in different variables before you verify that a certain upgrade is correct. And also having enough flexibility to look at all the different tracks so you have different variations of their setup from track to track. That comes through patience. And it was those years when they were coming last that they were doing it. And it starts off now. What are your thoughts, Kunle? I mean, I thought I'd be talk to more about their technical team and their method.
Yeah, so basically, like you rightly mentioned, they've been able to pull together a very elite team of winners. I particularly want to talk about the Greek guy, Promodro, who is the
Yeah.
chief aerodynamicist. This guy worked in tandem with Adrian Newey in the successful years between 2006 and 2014. So was a key deputy to Adrian Newey, and he was influential in designing and helping with insights into the aerodynamic behavior of the car. So the guy is really very experienced. And if you look at the team that they have assembled, you can see that these guys are tried and tested. They're not just misfits. And if you look at the way they organize their team, there's been a lot of overhaul and major technical restructuring under Andreas Stella. They've had to invest in wind tunnels as well as next generation simulators.
Sorry, I just tell her didn't organize anything. He just signed the checks. I mean, I'm not
That's
giving
a
that guy credit. Yeah, they
that's a
said he
skill, though.
organized it. You could put
But that,
anybody there. Oh, organize the geniuses. Oh, look at all the geniuses. Organize them. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry for that.
Yeah, it appears that he has given them, a free
Yeah.
hand to work with, and with that, they've been able to use the facilities, the new wind
I thought
tunnel.
that's like
The,
me hiring Messi and Vinny and Messi, Vinny, Maradona. I'm giving you guys free hand. I'm such a genius. Free
sure,
hand. Work amongst
sure,
yourselves. Go
sure,
ahead.
sure. But
I'm
you'll be
just kidding.
regarded
Sorry.
as
Go
a
ahead.
genius for giving us free hand.
No, I know
Anyway,
that. I just tell her is good. He's a good bureaucrat. Go ahead. Yeah.
bureaucrat, yeah. So
Yeah. Yeah.
basically, the wind tunnel is very key in this
Yeah.
determining the performance of a car because it basically measures the airflow around the car, so it can predict the behavior of the car in real life situations. And then you
Mhm.
look at the likes of Rob Marshall, Peter Promdromo that I've talked about, Neil Woodley, and Mark Temple. These are guys that have it all. When you have this kind of guys in your team, experience is there, expertise is there, bringing their technical insights from other, teams to bear in the McLaren team. And you can see how well built the McLaren car is almost flawless across several tracks. And it took years of experience and starting from scratch and building from the blocks, to set up such a very formidable
Yeah.
team, basically.
Yeah, and the guy you mentioned, Peter Permadu, basically what he's doing is making sure there's a proper correlation between wind tunnel and between real world results. And once again, that takes careful, painstaking, patient. That's why you don't see McLaren has not brought in an upgrade since Zandvoort because they're already doing the work for next year, the patient, and they just got lucky that uh, what you call it fell apart. Piastri fell apart because that also helped. And I mean that Norris did well because if not, what's his name would have won. Verstappen would have won if not for Norris stepping up. So they got lucky with that. And then the other guy, Neil Hudley, he's the one that does this like he detects small improvements on track, which is very important, looking at track surfaces and entering that data into the sim. But Rob Marshall to me is the man because Rob Marshall, he's been around for a long time. I think he's been in F1 for like 24 years. And the main thing he does, because Adrian Newey will come up with the math and then the engineers will be like, this motherfucker, don't he realize this shit ain't gonna work? This design ain't gonna work in real world. And Adrian Newey always says, this is what the designer says. I don't give a fuck, make it work. So what Rob Marshall is doing is trying his best to put Newey's vision into the actual downforce and everything. Because we know that the aerodynamicists like Newey, they're all about performance, but usually it doesn't work out because you have to sacrifice downforce. But what they're worried about is they don't want drag. But most designers like Newey, they don't care when you tell them that we don't have enough downforce because they don't want downforce because downforce will bring drag. So basically, he's the one that merges everything together. What are your thoughts, Kunle?
Yeah, I mean, when you're looking at it, I was interested to hear about what Afolabi said about the aerodynamics. You see, these are one of the strengths of the MCLN 39, the aerodynamically advanced chassis and an overall masterpiece of engineering, which is very, which has been shown. I mean, this is why these guys have got such a strong car. The team is developed and targeted its aerodynamic solutions, including a more aggressive wing to help low downforce tracks like
Yeah.
Las Vegas, which is why it's going to do quite
Yeah.
well on this track. Is
Well, actually, they're supposed to struggle on this track, but they're trying to find some ways to make the car better because it's not their window because it's cold. Las Vegas is
yeah. I
cold.
mean, yeah, they're supposed to struggle, but at the same time, while there aren't many sustained high-speed corners in Vegas, the car's general downforce and balance are assets that can be used to mitigate, some of the
Yeah, the
circuit
only problem
limitations.
though is that their downforce is going to give them more drag, and this track has mostly straights, so they might still have a problem in top speed. But we'll see how they get through it. But let's take a look at the car now. We've gotten through the technical part. The main thing I always said it. Red Bull is a rocket ship. McLaren is a cruise missile. If you want to shoot, if you're in Israel and you want to bomb Iran, you use a rocket ship. You use the Red Bull. If you're in Israel and you want to bomb Timbuktu, you have to use a cruise missile because it won't wear out. So basically, what I'm saying is that the McLaren car doesn't have a high top speed, but because of its tire deg, it can maintain a very good speed and it has the best race pace. And even over one lap, it does well, even though it doesn't have the highest top speed. But because of its traction and its stability and everything, it has a big advantage on the corners, especially on areas that have slow winding corners. So basically, they've made a car that's stable. It's not super fast. It doesn't even have the best downforce profile. Red Bull sweet spot has more downforce than McLaren's sweet spot. But overall, McLaren has more downforce over a range of the whole window. But it's not made for one lap performance per se. It has a good one lap performance, but it's made for race pace where the tires don't give out. What are your thoughts, Mr. Johnny?
Yeah, well, we've said it all about
Yeah,
McLaren and their
yeah.
aerodynamics, but mentioning Red Bull, like this is actually a Red Bull and a Ferrari circuit, as in this is where
Oh,
Ferrari
oh,
and Red Bull
yeah. At
actually do
Vegas.
well.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, so it's going to be fun looking at them. Yes, McLaren will be able to like endure due to their tire degradation. They'll be able to stay. They'll keep in a good fight. But I think this time around it's going to be the competition is going to be between Ferrari and Red Bull. They're going to
I think
be.
don't forget Mercedes too, because Mercedes, this is the perfect window because their tires overheat. So this when it's cold, it's perfect for them. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But Mercedes and McLaren are kind of the same in one kind of way in the because they
Yeah, I think
don't
the
like.
difference. So the difference is that the main difference between Mercedes and McLaren, because they both have downforce and traction. Mercedes has their tires overheat in regular conditions, and McLaren has better race pace than Mercedes because Mercedes tires get too hot and they have tire drag. But now in Vegas, because it's cold, Mercedes tires
Yeah,
will be okay. And now
yeah, okay.
the problem with McLaren is that McLaren's tires window is meant for warm weather. So now they're going to have graining. They're going to have graining, which is the opposite of tire deg. I always say tire deg is when it's too hot and the friction starts. Graining is when there's a differential between your tire temperatures and it's too cold. What are your thoughts about that point, Mr. Falabi? The graining issue, and that's the main difference between. That's the only difference between Mercedes and McLaren, actually. Yeah.
McLaren, actually, yeah, that's
And
true.
also another difference was that McLaren had that flexi wing. Mercedes didn't do it properly. So when they took away the flexi ring, McLaren added the front geometry and the more traction in their front tires. Mercedes didn't do that. That was the only difference. What are your thoughts, Folabi? Yeah.
I think they've been able to draw into their technological advanced engineering to see that the tire management, the tire is so balanced. I think it's because of whatever they did, the optimal tire temperatures always helps them in single lap pace, especially in qualifying. And
You
then
talk about McLaren.
yes,
Yeah.
McLaren, and the
Yeah.
degradation is minimal in race stints. So I think it's
Yeah.
a technology that they have kept very jealously and kept under wraps.
Yeah, we don't know what they're doing because that's the only difference between them and Mercedes. If
And
Mercedes had
Mercedes,
optimal
yes,
tires, they would win the championship.
they
What do you
always
think,
have the
Kunle?
way of maintaining the optimal tire temperature,
Yeah,
especially
I
in
think they're using
qualifying. Yes,
Yeah.
before we go to Claire, I think they're using something like mercury. They're using some type of load material that builds up heat. Then when it's too much heat, it starts to cool and distribute. They have something that's working like a
like a
thermostat.
thermostat. I think it's like a
Yeah, yeah.
thermostat.
What were you gonna say, Kunle? Yeah,
Oh yeah, I was going to say, well, specifically, now that we're in Vegas, where the track temperature draws significantly, like it happened last year that the car did struggle to generate and maintain tire temperature
yeah,
effectively. That was a major factor in the weaker than expected performance in 2024. And that's why I think there's going to be really a Red Bull. McLaren's going to struggle here. I mean,
yeah.
that was what was causing their tires to grain and lose performance last season. Whether they've solved it for this race remains a lot remains to be seen. What I will say is that the colder than normal air temperature expected for the race means McLaren will not be able to take full advantage of some of the strengths of the cooling systems that they're trying
Yeah.
to optimize as well. It's going to be a straight race between Red Bull and I think Leclerc could get a 2 or 3 here. I think that McLaren are going to struggle. I think that if Hamilton has his head on, it could be his one and only last chance to get a podium third
Podium,
finish if he
yeah.
has a great
Yeah.
day. But I don't. I mean, I'm trying to be positive for McLaren, but in all honesty, this is one of the fastest tracks on the circuit. They're just going to get exposed for pace.
Yeah, I hope Piastri crashes into Norris too. What are your thoughts, Johnny? I'm serious.
Um,
I'm gonna do like Eric Shell. I believe in voodoo. I'm going to make sure that happens. Go ahead.
Speaking of the fact that it's going to be cool for Mercedes, and this is going to be a very, very good opportunity to see Antonelli
Oh, Russell,
and
that's gonna
George
be interesting.
Russell.
Yeah,
You're going to see them, see their fight. I don't want yeah, they're going to be like, they're going to have like a kind of like a separate fight that's going to prepare
yeah.
us for what we're going to be seeing next year in
That's
coming
gonna be
back.
crazy, man.
Yeah,
That's going to be crazy because I have a feeling Antonelli is beginning to catch, and George Russell has been playing it down every week. I have a bit of a cold this week. Every week
this
is
and
flu
that.
and cold. Every time he loses to Antonelli, he has flu. Come on, man. All right. All right, follow me. Last thoughts and take us out. This was a good one, though. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is a very unique track in that it has very low grip and the conditions are bitterly cold. So the race, I think it will take place at night and the track temperatures will really, really drop. So I think the MCL will not perform particularly well on this track because uh, the management, it makes it harder for them to generate and maintain the temperature in cold conditions that they will need to perform well. It will be very difficult for them, especially if they're using the softest C5 compound. And then the circuit is dominated by long, high-speed straights, including the 1.2 mile street section. So I think they will need a low downforce configuration, and let's see how it works. But I don't see McLaren having any joy here because of the conditions.
And I want to add, this is not hating on McLaren, but I find it hard to believe they have all this scientific advancements without going over the cost cap for research. They're doing something. It's easy to launder money.
It costs money.
I'll give you an example. There's a team in the U.S., the Dallas Cowboys. They have a good team. So this is how they got around the cost cap. Nike said that anybody who comes to their team, they will give that person whatever that team gives them to. And that's technically is not over the cost cap. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like if you don't play, for example, what if Nike said, unless you play for Man U, we won't give you shoe contract for $50 million. Then Nike gives you $15 million. That's not going over the cost cap, if you know what I mean, Kunle. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. You're getting the income from a different source.
Yeah, so you have other people, your friends will be giving people. So in other words, they're spending somehow because there's no way these types of stuff that they're doing that nobody else is groundbreaking research. And it's not even the engineers. This is the stuff, like they said, I think they use a university in Saudi Arabia or somewhere. There's somebody's giving them money to help them do the research. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying, because within the cost cap, look at Mercedes. With all the money they have, they don't have the type of technology McLaren has. Anyway, let's get out of here. Kunle, take us out.
So it's been an interesting look in what is going to be a hot weekend or an extremely cold weekend in the Las Vegas circuit come Sunday. And from myself, Mustafa, Afolabi, and Johnny, we bid you goodbye, farewell, adieu. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.
Yeah, you guys, you know that free practice is tonight. It's going on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, because every night, like the race will be let's say the race is going to be at Saturday, 11 o'clock U.S. time. That means 5 in the morning, Nigeria.
Wow.
The cricket ashes kicks off at 3:30.
So, for example, free practice is today
for
Vegas, tonight at 8 o'clock at night.
Tonight so at 8 p.m.
Yeah, so 8 p.m. That'll be 2 in the morning, you guys. Yeah.
So 2 in the morning, our own time.
I want to do
2 in the morning, your own time. Yeah.
I'm going to sleep after our show. I'm going to eat and sleep for a few hours because there's also the cricket starting.
When? Today
as well. The Ashes.
So Kunle, we'll do American politics in about 30 minutes. 30 minutes, okay? Right. Thanks. All right. Guys, good show. PhD for science.